Hi, everyone. Welcome, friends of the planet. Zoe here. I am our Daily Planet's digital content director. And today we're so excited to have with us Michelle Olson, who is the creative director of the new game Beasts of Maravilla Island. And we're so excited to talk with her about her new game.
Yay, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So, you started making your game while you were in college with the USC Advanced Games Project program. What inspired you to create the game and what encouraged you to continue developing the game after you graduated?
I mean, the biggest reason why I wanted to make this game to begin with is that I am a huge lover of the natural world and of animals and of wildlife, and I'm also a huge lover of video games, as my profession would imply. I was always so disappointed at the lack of opportunities in video games to engage with magical creatures in non-violent ways, because most of the games that you play, even ones that have sort of a positive spin on interacting with magical creatures like Pokemon, which I love, you're battling them, you're fighting them. In games like Monster Hunter, there's these glorious beasts, you're killing them. And that's just kind of how it is in a lot of video games, which breaks my heart. One of the biggest inspiration for beasts is honestly Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is my favorite game of all time. There was a moment in it where you see this unbelievable, gorgeous, magical dragon, and I was like, like I was like just shaken to my core, like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And I was like, can I talk to it? Like, can I be its friend? And it's like, no, all you can do is shoot it. Well, that is really lame, isn't it? Like that's a shame. So I was like, man, I would really love to make a game where you can experience the wonder and awe and joy of these extraordinary magical creatures, but celebrate them and appreciate them instead of engaging with them in violent ways. So I started developing the concept right after my freshman year of college, just as kind of like a fun little thought experiment that I had. I started to get more serious about it my junior year, and that's when I made the all of the pitch materials and stuff to actually submit to get into the Advanced Games Project program. And then after that got greenlit, that's when full development really kicked off. But sort of like in the wake of COVID and some new opportunities that had presented themselves as a result, we found that there were a lot more people interested in the game than we initially thought. Like I was in an incubator program at my school. They encouraged my team to run a Kickstarter, and I was really hesitant about that at first. We did it and we were all terrified, but then we wound up funding the first day. I was like, oh, okay, like, wow, I guess people do like this game. So
Wow,
kind of
that's really impressive.
and then we got presented with another amazing opportunity where our publisher now, Whitethorn Games, reached out to us and they're like, hey, we really love your game. We'd love to be your publisher so that we can like help you release this as a commercial product. It was kind of serendipitous how it turned out. It was never our plan to sort of turn it into the fully released like commercial product that it is now.
To dive into that a little bit deeper, you talked before about how having this game have an ethos of nonviolence and nonviolent interaction with the creatures that you created for it.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit more about how you chose to make this game values driven and kind of how that comes across as the users playing the game?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm so happy to be asked about this because really, like, you're meeting me for the first time and they ask me about, like, what do I do? And, like, what designs am I passionate about? I will always sort of lead with, like, I'm a very values driven designer. Like, that's something I feel like in any game, any sort of choice that you're letting players do, whether it's intentional or not, it's saying something. It is promoting a value. I mean, we were talking about Pokemon Snap, which is a game that I love, which I'll lead with that. But, like, in that game, you throw food at wild animals. That's really bad to do in the real world. That's promoting a value. People might play that game and be like, oh, cool. Like, yeah, I can just throw apples at a wild animal that I see. Like, Pokemon Snap told me that it's okay. Like, every sort of design choice that I make in the work that I do, I try to make sure is the value that it's promoting something that I agree with. So in Beasts of Maravilla Island, that's something that is very much all throughout. So the biggest one is obviously nonviolent interactions with creatures. With that, we wanted to make sure that players didn't feel deprived in any way. We wanted to prove that you can have a full experience of appreciating the glory and the beauty and the wonder of these magical beasts and not hurting them at all and not feeling like, oh, darn, like this game's boring, or like I wish that I could be doing something else with them. We tried to come up with a full suite of interaction schemes that were aligned with the values that we had. My very sort of rigid, like, no, we wanted players to be able to engage with the wildlife in a way that was fulfilling. A lot of things that come to mind for people immediately might be like feeding them or petting them. However, that's really not cool to do in the real world. As much as I'd love to go pet a bear, like that's bad. Like, don't do that. So we were trying to think, what are things that we can do with the wildlife that'll still make players feel like delighted and connected to them, that are actually promoting positive values. And so we came up with our whistling mechanics. You can, any creature in the game, you can go up and you can like whistle at it, giving them ample distance. You're not giving them any food that's bad for them. You're not touching them, but you whistle at them, and then they'll like turn and look at you and like make a little sound back, or they'll do a little animation, or they'll get closer to you and things like that. And we found that that serves the same design goal that we wanted to solve.
I think back to kind of how some people have treated turtles in the wild from Mario Kart, where you throw turtle shells. And so there's so many instances of people picking up turtles or tortoise, or they picked up tortoises thinking they were stranded and put them in water, even though they don't belong there. And I think, you know, we can directly connect that to values they learn in video games, but it sure seems like it kind of reinforces that you can be
totally
with animals.
And I know a lot of people don't even know that like feeding wildlife is bad. Like they don't know that like that's harmful to them. They think that it's like a fun, nice, lovely thing to do, and I don't blame them. That's what all of the messaging in like games and film and TV and stuff like that, it's been like, give ducks some bread. Wait, actually don't do that. It's not good for them. I'm hoping to embody those sorts of things in the games that I make.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I love that messaging, and I'm really glad too that you didn't compromise any of those values. And so you said that all of the animals in the game are magical, fantastical creatures, but they are based on real life animals, to my understanding, and their behaviors. I would love to know sort of what type of research and consultation went into creating them, and sort of how they're inspired.
Oh my gosh, yes, I love this question. I'm going to give a quick shout out to the man who was just the biggest advocate and mentor and just amazing human being who helped me and my team with this sort of effort. His name is Dr. Michael Habib. Before COVID, he would take me and then my lead designer and right-hand man, Eva Wiersbicki, he would take the two of us into the LA Natural History Museum collections so that we could study the specimens that they had there. And he's an expert at anything about animals, but especially helped tell us about fascinating animal behaviors and morphology and things like that. And he was just amazing and has always been such a huge supporter of our game and the work that we do. And he was the biggest sort of link for us into getting really amazing like scientific inspiration. Just him telling us a cool animal fact. Did you know that owls' wings make no sound? That's amazing. And you can take that and be like, whoa, like what if we applied that to a creature of ours? I mean, there's so many extraordinary beings in the real world that just seem inherently magical. That's where basically all of the creatures from Beasts stem from. We're very, very public in terms of how we're like, yeah, like all the creatures you see in our game, like these are inspired by real things that maybe you don't know about, and you should Google them and see videos of them and be like, whoa, that's wild. Have people not only be enchanted and delighted by manifestations that we've created of like several different creatures and behaviors and things together. The couple that come to mind just to plug them because they're cool. We have this magical glowing river otter. It is inspired in combination with giant river otters that you see in the Amazon because they're big and weird and kind of freaky, but they're awesome. And then caimans, which are like kind of crocodilian, weird but awesome creatures. And then the way that the scales light up on these creatures is inspired by these creatures called comb jellies, which if you've never seen them before or never seen video of them before, they swim through the water and it just looks like an LED light show is going on in there. And it's like, oh my God, nature did that. That's crazy. And the philosophy that we used for all of our creatures was familiar, but with a magical twist. You should see it and be like, that's an otter. And it's like, but it's not quite an otter. What's different here?
That sounds so wonderful. I can't wait to take a look for myself. And I think, you know, your love of nature and animals really comes through. But on the other hand, I think that there is a big fear in society that as technology becomes a more prevalent part of our lives, that kids especially are going to lose a connection to nature. Is, you know, we've seen during COVID-19 that iPads and computers have become such an integral part of our learning. So do you that games like yours help inspire younger generations and kids to actually get outside and develop those passions and maybe take a look at the world around them, even in their backyard? And do you think more games like yours are on the horizon?
So I sincerely hope that my game will inspire people that play it to go outside and experience nature. A lot of where my sort of inspiration and love of nature and love of animals and love of the environment honestly came from the video games that I played when I was a kid. And even though their messaging wasn't quite as pointed as mine of about like conservation and wildlife and stuff like that, I played the Legend of Zelda games when I was younger, and those are all about just like adventure and courage, and like you explore these beautiful things and meet these amazing people and these amazing creatures. And so when I was a kid, I wanted to like go outside and take it all in. I wanted to be a courageous adventurer. I wanted to go on hikes so that I could feel like Link. So I'm hoping that with games like mine, and there's lots of other really incredible games that are being developed now, where people like me are like, let's try to promote some new values in video games. Let's try to celebrate the natural world. And there's a lot of really amazing ones that are coming out. My biggest wish for Beasts of Maravilla Island is that people play it and it will inspire them to go out and look a little closer at the wildlife that's around them, or like watch a nature documentary and learn about the incredible things that live in our real world, and recognizing that you don't have to just look inside of a video game to find a fantastic creature. They're all over the place.
That's such a wonderful message. And again, I can't wait to check this out for myself. And Michelle, thank you so much for explaining a bit more about your process. This was so cool for me to learn and understand, at least. And I want to ask, before you go, where can our readers and viewers find Beast of Maravilla Island? Can they go to find more information about you and keep up with you?
Yeah, so definitely our website, beastofmaravillaisland.com. We have all of our links to various social media channels. They were really active on social media. So definitely, if you want to keep up with the development of the game, if you want to get in contact with us, those are the best places to do it. We're on everything: Instagram, Twitter, Discord. We're coming out soon. So definitely sign up for notifications. Stuff. The biggest thing too, if folks who are watching want to help support the game, the big thing for indie devs is if you wishlist us on Steam, that's awesome, because that shows them I'm interested in games like these, and it'll help get more eyes on it when we come out, which is super cool.
Well, we hope this is a smash hit, and we hope that all of our readers who have young ones or even enjoy video games themselves check out Beast of Maravilla Island when it comes out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.